Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Welcome to MOOCs Malaysia for the subject Microeconomics MES 3023. You will be with me, Dr. Suraya Ismail, for the important topic in microeconomics, elasticity. So after finish this chapter, students should be able to understand the concept of elasticity, differentiate the types of elasticities, calculate and interpret the elasticities, and describe the factors that affect the elasticity. Okay, let me go first to have a look on the definition of elasticity. Elasticity actually allows us to analyze supply and demand with greater precision. It is a measure of how much buyers and sellers respond to changes in market conditions. Generally, we can define elasticity as a responsiveness or sensitivity to changes in variable. Or elasticity also can be defined as a percentage change in the dependent variable, example quantity, in response to 1% change in an independent variable, example price. We will learn several types of elasticity. There are price elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand. The third one is income elasticity of demand, and the last one is price elasticity of supply. Let's move to first type of elasticity, which is price elasticity of demand. Okay, the definition of price elasticity of demand, or ED. So ED, we measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded, or QD, to changes in price, or P. We can get the value of elasticity by dividing the percentage change in quantity demanded with percentage change in price, or Q2. So the change in quantity is calculated by new quantity, or Q2, minus all quantity, or Q1, over Q1, and the value change in price, in new price, P2, minus all price, P1 over P1. Example, price of banana increased from 5 ringgit Malaysia to 10 ringgit Malaysia, and quantity demanded falls from 50 kilogram to 20 kilograms. From an example, the percentage change in quantity demanded is negative 0.6 because of decreasing in quantity demanded, while the percentage change in price is 1. So we can get the elasticity of demand is negative 0.6. You must be careful about the signs, because for ED, price elasticity of demand, we will ignore the minus sign and concentrate on the absolute value of the elasticity. For example, for the value negative 0.6, so the absolute value is 0.6. Now we move to another part in elasticity, which is an elasticity along linear demand curve. So we have an axis, vertical axis for price, and horizontal axis for quantity demanded. Okay, we have a demand curve, a straight line linear demand curve, or linear demand curve. So we have a midpoint at P star and Q star. So the value at the price axis is ED equal to infinity. The second is ED is elastic, or ED between 1 and infinity, and in the midpoint is ED equal to 1, or we call as a unitary elasticity. The next one is inelastic. The ED is the value of ED is between 0 and 1, and the last one is ED equal to 0, which is perfectly inelastic. Okay, the first one is perfectly elastic demand, or ED equal to infinity. So perfectly demand, Perfectly elastic demand is a demand in which quantity drops to zero at the slightest increase in price. The second one is elastic demand. Is a demand relationship in which the percentage change in quantity demanded is larger in absolute value than the percentage change in price, as a demand elasticity with an absolute value greater than 1. Unitary elasticity is a demand relationship in which the percentage change in quantity of a product demanded is the same as the percentage change in price in absolute value, a demand elasticity of -1. Inelastic demand is a demand that responds somewhat but not a great deal to changes in price. Inelastic demand always has a numerical value between 0 and 1. Perfectly inelastic demand is a demand in which quantity demanded does not respond at all to change in price, or ED equal to 0. So next, we move to elasticity and total revenue. What is total revenue, or TR? Total revenue is the amount paid by buyers and received by sellers of a good. So how to calculate TR, or total revenue? So total revenue is calculated by P times Q. Elasticity has a relationship with total revenue. Because total revenue is the product of P and Q, whether TR rise of all in response to a price increase depends in which is bigger, the percentage increase in price on the percentage decrease in quantity demanded. Elasticity has a relationship with total revenue because total revenue is the product of P and Q. Whether total revenue rise of all in response to a price increase depends in which is bigger, the percentage increase in price or percentage decrease in quantity demanded. So we have a look on the comparison of demand curve and total revenue. Comparison of curves, demand curve and total revenue sharply focuses the relationship between elasticity and total revenue. Lowering the price in the elastic range of demand will increase the TR. Conversely, increasing the price in the range will reduce the TR. In both cases, the price and TR change negatively, confirming that demand is elastic. So the TR, or total revenue, becomes maximum when the ED is equal to 1, unitary elasticity. In the inelastic range of demand curve, lowering the price will decrease the TR, and conversely, the TR will increase when the price is increased. So the price and TR have in the same direction. Generally, the larger the number of substitute goods are available, the greater the price elasticity of demand. When we compare between luxuries and necessities products, luxuries are more elastic than necessities. The product is more elastic in the long run compared to short run. Generally, the larger the number of substitute goods are available. Now we move to determinants of ED. So we have 4 examples of determinants of ED. The first one is number of substitutes. So generally, the larger the number of substitute goods are available, the greater the price elasticity of demand. The second one, the types of product between luxuries versus necessities. When we compare between luxuries and necessities products, luxuries are more elastic than necessities. The third one is the time period or time horizon. So we compare between short run and long run. So the product is more elastic in the long run compared to short run. So the last one is proportion of the expenditure. The higher the proportion of expenditure relative to consumers' income, the greater the elasticity of demand. The last one is the proportion of the expenditure. The higher the proportion of goods relative to consumers' income, the greater the ED. The second type of elasticity is income elasticity of demand. What is income elasticity of demand? So the definition elasticity of demand, the income elasticity of demand, or EI, measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded, or QD, to changes in income, or I. So we get the EI by dividing the change in quantity demanded with percentage change in income. Let's take a look on an example. So the income increased from 5 ringgit to 15 ringgit, and demand of banana increased from 2 kilogram to 4 kilogram. So we get the percentage change in quantity demanded equal to 1, and percentage change in income equal to 2, and then we get EI, or income elasticity of demand, is equal to 0.5. So from the EI, we can identify the type of goods, whether it is luxury, normal, necessities, or inferior goods. Let's take a look of the table. So from the table, we have 3 values of EI. The first one is positive, the second one is 0, and the last one is negative. EI is positive, that means EI is larger than 0. So example, we have 2 value of EI, which is a 2 for luxury goods, and the 0.5 when the value of EI is below than 1, so that's a normal goods. The second one is 0, so we have EI equal to 0 for the goods we call as a necessities good. And the last one is negative, that means EI is less than 0, example negative 0.5, so we call as inferior goods or given goods. So the third of elasticity, the third type of elasticity is cross elasticity of demand. What is a cross elasticity of demand? We have a look on definition of EXY. The cross elasticity of demand, or EXY, measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded, or QDX, quantity demanded for X goods, to changes in price, or PY. So we can get the EXY by dividing the percentage change in quantity demanded of X with percentage change in price of Y. Let's take a look on an example. So we have the price of sugar increase from 2 ringgit to 10 ringgit, and the demand of honey increased from 3 kilogram to 5 kilogram. So from the table, we can get the percentage change in quantity demanded of X, or demand of honey, equal to 0.4, and the percentage change in PY, or price of sugar, equal to 4. And after we calculate the elasticity, we get EXY is equal to 0.1. From the cross elasticity of demand, we can identify, from the cross elasticity of demand, we can identify the type of goods, whether it is substitutes, complements, or unrelated products. Let's take a look of the table. So from the table, we have 3 value of EXY, or cross elasticity of demand. The first one is positive, that means EI is more than 0, example equal to 2, so we call as a substitutes goods. The second one is 0, EI is equal to 0, so we call as a unrelated goods. And the last one is negative, that means EI is less than 0, example negative 0.5, so we call as a complements good. All the elasticity that we have learned before are elasticity of demand. For the last part in this chapter is price elasticity of supply. Okay, we take a look on definition of price elasticity of supply. The price elasticity of supply, or ES, measures the responsiveness of quantity supplied, or QS, to changes in price, or P. Okay, so we get the price elasticity of supply by dividing the percentage change. We get the price elasticity of supply by dividing the percentage change in quantity supplied with percentage change in price. We look at an example. Price of banana increased from 5 ringgit to 10 ringgit, and the quantity supplied increased from 10 kilogram to 15 kilogram. So from this value, from this example, we get the percentage change in quantity supply is equal to 0.5, and the percentage change in price is equal to 1. And the ES is equal to 0.5 after we divide. Let's take a look on example. Price of banana increased from 5 ringgit to 10 ringgit. And the quantity supplied increased from 10 kilogram to 15 kilogram. So from this example, we get percentage change in quantity supply is equal to 0.5, and percentage change in price is equal to 1, and ES is equal to 0.5. From the calculations of elasticity, we can classify the types of, from the calculation of elasticity, we can classify the types or the degrees of supply curve as given in the table. Okay, we have the first one is perfectly elastic, or ES equal to infinity. Perfectly elastic means very large percentage change in quantity supply is more than almost 0% change in price. Perfectly elastic is equal to infinity means very large percent. Perfectly elastic means very large percent. Perfectly elastic means very large percentage change in quantity supply is greater than almost 0% change in price. The second one is elastic. Elastic is ES more than 1. So elastic ES is elastic ES more than 1. That means percentage change in QS, or quantity supply, is more than percentage change in price. The third one is unitary elastic. ES equal to 1. So unitary elastic means percentage change in quantity supply is equal to percentage change in price. The fourth one is inelastic. The last. Okay. Inelastic. Okay. The fourth one is inelastic, which is ES less than 1. That means percentage change in quantity supply is less than percentage change in price. And the last one is perfectly inelastic. ES equal to 0. That means percentage change in quantity supply does not affect percentage change in. The last one is perfectly inelastic. ES equal to 0. That means the percentage change in price doesn't affect the percentage change in quantity supply. So let's take a look on the graph or curve. So the first one is the perfectly elastic. We have the horizontal line. The second one is elastic. We have the second one is elastic. The third one is unitary elastic. From the graph, the third one is unitary elastic. The curve comes from origin. The fourth one is inelastic. And the last one is perfectly inelastic. We have the vertical line. So the last part of price elasticity of supply is determinants of ES. So we have several examples of determinants of ES. The first one is time period. The elasticity of supply usually is more elastic in the long run than the short run. The second one is technology. So technology, the second one is technology. So with the technology advancements, producers are able to supply more, hence the supply tends to be elastic. And the third one is flexibility of producing products. Flexibility of producing product means the price elasticity of supply depends on the flexibility on the amount of goods that producer produced. The more goods can be produced, so it becomes more elastic, and the other way around. The fourth one is availability and mobility of resources or factors of productions. The more resources are mobile and available, that means the supply to be more elastic. And the last one is perishability. The products that are easily perishable becomes more inelastic supply. Now students, we come to an end. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope the video will help you to understand better inelasticity. So we see again in the next chapter. Thank you.